Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together practicing to renew our body, our mind. And so today we alternate, for those of you who are new, we alternate every week. Today we're focusing on our body and particularly talking about how to enhance the flow of live energy within us, a very non-Western concept. But in the end, the medical reason for all that is to reduce chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation basically induces pain in the body. And so very often we just take painkiller and not understanding that it's a symptom of something deeper. So we're going to start with some massage, some tapping, some acupressure, some different modality of relieving the pain and also clearing the channel for the what we call the chi, the life energy. All right, so we're going to start with the fingertips. All right, so we're going to start with the left hand. We're going to use the right thumb and just very gently massage the fingertips. Now, last week, I talked about how, as a caregiver, in my case, it's my father and my in laws. And as you accompany them towards the end stage of the life, it's very important to do four things. Now, we're done with the fingertips, so now we're going to start with the fingers and we're going to work on the joints. So, once again, use the right thumb and very gently massage the joints. And as you massage the front, the left, back to the front, and then to the right. And when you finish one joint, you move to the next one. And as you finish one finger, you move to the next finger. All right. And the four things that I mentioned that is very, very important to guide someone towards the light. And this is the case, irrespective of your religious belief, that we want to guide the dying towards the light. And those four things are, do you remember? Say thanks, say sorry, say love, and say goodbye. All right. Now we finished with the left hand, so now let's come to the right hand using the left thumb. Once again, massage the joints, massage the fingers. Now, so one of the ways to describe what we do here is to unleash our self-healing power and healing our body and healing our mind. Well, it turns out that the two things, the one thing that the two have in common is say thanks, say sorry, and say love, right? And so as you massage your body, it's actually very important to show the gratitude towards your body. Think of your body not as your entire existence, but rather just the physical part of your existence. And you treat your body as your companion. All right. All right. So now we're done with the palm of the hand. Let's turn around and back to the fingertips again. So this time we're going to use two fingers, the thumb and the index fingers, and we're going to put it on the two corners of the fingernails. And then you just kind of massage by squeezing it a little bit. And now we move to the right hand, same thing. And while you're doing this, keep focusing your mind on your body, anchor your mind on your body. And as you do it, try to say, I'm very grateful for who you are, for being my companion. And I am sorry that in the past I haven't shown you enough love. I took you for granted. I didn't accept you as who you are, right? And it might kind of sound silly, but actually, it's the beginning of really understanding your body and allowing your body to heal, but also allowing your mind to heal. All right, one joint at a time. So now we're going to work on the right hand and put your fingers, squeeze the fingertips a little bit, and then work on the joints. Now, as you work on the joints, you're going to feel some pain, right? Because your fingers are inflamed. And this is part of aging, right? The body starts to inflame. We just call it different names. We call it arthritis, we call it carpal tunnel, we have many words for it. But in the end, it's just all chronic inflammation. All right, so now we're done with the joints, done with the fingers. So we're going to work on the knuckles, which is basically moving from the fingertips all the way to the top of the head. So I want you to hold the left hand into a fist, very soft, and then you notice that there's cavity in between the knuckles. So you're going to take your right thumb, use the edge of the thumb, and just kind of massage inside. And then you're going to massage the back of the hand. You notice that each finger is individual, and so in between the bones, you can massage. And then these four fingers join at the wrist. And if you use your fingers, you can feel some two cavities. So just do some acupressure here. And then now we're going to work on the thumb. Okay, the thumb is a very important part. It's the most important part of our hand. So we're going to massage the thumbs, massage it thoroughly. Now there's a part of the thumb right here. There's an energy point right here. So I want you to use your make a knuckle and just kind of put some pressure here. All right, put some pressure here, and you feel some soreness on this part. Same thing on the other side. We're gonna use your left thumb, and we're gonna massage the knuckles, in between the knuckles, and then in between the fingers bone, and then do some acupressure at the wrist, and then back and massage the thumb, and then use the knuckle and put some pressure on this energy point right here. Okay. All right. So there's another energy point in the middle of the palm, which is a very important one. This is why we call it the healing hand, because it's the only energy point that can give out energy. So we're going to do the same. You're just going to knuckle and just kind of put some pressure here, and then also put some pressure here. And then we're going to put those 2 points together. But imagine there's a circle. So we're going to move the hands around like this and kind of, and then we're going to put the right on top of the left hand using the center of the palm to massage the back of the hand, but we're going to squeeze the fingers a little bit like this, okay? And then we will do the same thing. All right. So we spent a lot of time on the fingers. We're not done. We're not even half done yet, right? And the reason, there's a lot of reason for that. One is that as the energy flow in and out of the body, so remember now, this energy is not just the body energy in the body. It's not the energy that you generate by the food, like after breakfast, like oh, I have a lot of energy. That's not the kind of energy we're talking about. The energy that we're talking about is actually the energy, the magnetic energy in the universe, and so that's why we talk about the planets, the five elements. So the key is how do you clear these channels so that the energy can actually pass through you. Now, I'm not sure, I haven't ever seen uh, a zombie before, but I can imagine, what a zombie looks like. Zombie is a living being, just like we are. But I imagine that what's lacking in zombies is the life energy. Okay, so when I see uh, people who are not well, irrespective of age, I have to imagine that maybe they just don't have that energy in them. You know, so that's why it's important. And all right, so let's continue. And so we're done. Okay, so we continue massaging. So energy will pass through your body, and when it leaves your body, we call that the yang, influenced by the sun. And when it comes back, and we call that yin, the influence of by the absence of the sun. All right. So these fingertips, these extremities, whether they're fingertips, the toes, the ears, the top, the head, these are all very important points because if they're blocked, then they block the entire flow of the energy, right? So let's continue to work on the fingers. So we're going to take each of the fingers, we use the right hand, just grab it and massage all the way around. Okay. Now on the other side. Okay. We're going to do one more, which is we pull the fingers. We pull the fingers. KB has a question, so I'm gonna. I didn't ignore you. I'm gonna answer the question. and I'm just thinking about how I should answer it in the shortest way possible. All right. So now we're going to do some very famous qigong exercise with the fingers. So the fingers are important because they're the extremities, but the fingers are also important in the sense that there are five. There are five, and five means five elements. And the five elements are what is maintaining the harmony in the universe, as well as the harmony on our planet Earth, as well as the harmony within us. And those five elements are the water elements, the vegetation, the fire, and the soil, and the mineral. And they also represents the five key, what we call the yin organs, the organs that actually contains the treasures. And these are the water element is the kidney, and then and then it comes to the liver, then it comes to the heart, then it comes to the splint, then it comes to the lung, right? So the five fingers actually also represents the five energy that supports these five organs. And so by doing the finger exercise, it actually creates the harmony inside of us. So this exercise is very simple. We take the thumb, we take the index fingers, we put them together, and then we squeeze as hard as we can. Then we take the thumb and the middle finger and we squeeze as hard as we can. And then the index finger and you squeeze as hard as we can. And then the little finger, squeeze as hard as we can. Now we take the thumb, we put that in the middle of the index finger and we squeeze as hard as we can. And, and then finally the small fingers and as hard as we can. All right. So one last exercise I can continue to do with the hand. Now, this exercise with the fingers, there's another aspect to that, which is our evolution. Our evolution is tied to our fingers, particularly is tied to our thumb. So back in the days when we were living on the trees, when we were sharing the common ancestor with the monkeys and the apes, um, the humans were the first one to discover the use of the thumb and the fingers. Therefore, we were able to break a branch, use it as a weapon, and walk down the tree. So our entire evolutions is basically on the fingers, right? Now, different animals are differently. Like the dogs, they're on the smell, right? The cats are more like the eyesight, like that kind of thing. And so, but humans are hand, always hand. So the hands and the brains are tied together. And so the Chinese believe that if you work on your fingers, particularly if you work on your hand and your finger individually, it helps to maintain the balance between the left brain and the right brain. And my experience with my dad is that dementia actually starts with losing balance, losing the balance between the left brain and the right brain. All right, it's a very simple exercise. Excuse me. So let's stretch your spine. Now, the spine is a very important part of the energy system. So we always have to stretch, lean back, relax. And then we lift up our shoulder, open the shoulder, and then relax. Now we're going to do this one hand at a time. So let's raise up a right hand, close your eye, and we're going to move these fingers one finger at a time. So first, we're going to take the thumb, then we're going to take two fingers, then the index fingers, then the little fingers. Now we're going to lower our right hand, raise our left hand using the right side of our thumb, and then we're going to exercise these fingers individually. First the thumb, then two fingers, then index, then little finger. We're going to bring both of them up and we're going to squeeze as hard as we can. Then we're going to open the fist in a reverse order. First, the right hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Put that down. Back to the left hand using the right thumb. We're going to release the fist in reverse order. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And we're going to bring them up and we're going to stretch those fingers as hard as we can. That's the first time. Now we're going to do the second time and we're going to speed it up a little bit. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Bring it back up, squeeze, open it up. All right hand first, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And we're going to stretch as hard as we can. Now, the third time, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then we're going to stretch as hard as we can. Now we're going to put the palm together, the fingers together. We're going to sit up straight. We're going to push the palms together. And we're going to lift up the elbow, forming this straight line. And then we're going to lower the hand without leaving the palm of the hand, okay? And we feel the pain on the wrist. All right. Okay, so that's the finger exercise. Now we can start some tapping. So let me look at KT's questions. Can you talk about palm chakras? My hands and arms are literally on fire due to pain when I was sick with long COVID for nearly 2 years. Now it's better, but my hands and arms have not fully healed yet. Well, first of all, don't hurt yourself. Right? Don't think that just by work on your fingers that it will heal the fingers. Again, my belief, my advice is to treat your body as a whole. And so the problem is not just in the fingers. The problem is actually in the flow. And we talk about chi, but chi is just one half of the flow. There's another half which is called the shi chi. One means blood, one means air. So blood is basically everything you can imagine. It's the blood flow, it's the flow of the all the chemicals in your body. But those are electrical, and um, chi is actually magnetic. The only way that you could have magnetic energy is if the electricities are coherent. And so that's why we meditate. That's why we meditate. So when you meditate, you're actually letting your flow of electricities in your body to become more coherent. And once it's coherent, it generates a magnetic field. And once you have the magnetic field, then you can actually experience the magnetic field outside of you. So it's not just about one thing or the other. Those are just symptoms. And what we call long COVID is basically that your body has no immunity, right? There's no immunity. Your body is just out of whack, and so you need to come back, and you need to have that belief that the way back to the is to make it more stable, and you start with this kind of exercise where you don't try to beat it into death, but rather you try to massage, you try to do these more gentle exercise, but at the same time, we work ourselves towards meditation and work ourselves towards abdominal breathing. It's a whole body experience, okay? So you use the word palm chakras. So chakra is a North Indian concept. It actually comes from nadis. Nadis is in fact the flow of energy from the universe. And the North Indians believe that there are 72,000 nadis, uh, half of them on your left, half of them on your right. And it's the cross section of these nadis that are called chakras. And there are not seven chakras, there are 114 chakras in your body. We just kind of simplified and say that there are seven here, and I'm not sure there's one in the hand. There might be, but it's a different concept. It's a very different concept. It's the same system. The Chinese just have a different way of interpreting it. They actually learn it from the Indians, and they abstract it into these 12 meridians, and then probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 or 300 energy points. They're slightly different than chakras. Okay, so I would just say that the reason that we suffer from long COVID is just that we never treat the body as an energy system. All right. So if you believe that the body is an energy system, then you work on it. All right, work on it. Believe in it. Right, little by little. It's a long, long journey. All right. So let's continue. And so now we're going to do some tapping. And the fingertips are very important energy points. So let's put the fingers together. But again, it's the whole body. It's not just the physical body, it's also the mental body. So it's very important now that you anchor your mind on the fingertips. All right, you anchor your mind on the fingertips, and as you tap, it's as if you're playing the instrument. Get ready, go. Okay, now we're going to cross the hands and we're going to do the same thing 30 times. And now we're going to tap some very important energy points in the palm of your hand. The palm of your hand is away from the sun. That's yin. And yin, in this case, is one energy line that start with the little fingers. That's the one that we name after the heart, but in this case, actually more like the mental side of the mind. The heart, which is the mind, and then the thumb, which is the lung. But again, it's not good to think of it in terms of organ, right? We just abstract it by using the organ, but it's actually the element. So this is the fire element, and then this is the mineral element, all right? So we're going to put the palm together, forming a V, and it's this part right here. Okay, so get ready 30 times. And then now turn around, and then same thing on this side. All right, get ready 30 times. Okay, now this is the mind, right? So this is the yang side. This is the yin side. The yang side is actually the small intestine. So the Chinese actually understood how important it is to have good intestinal health, good probiotic health, and it's tied to your mind. And so this energy point, if you take your hand, you fold it like this, it goes right here. So then you take your palm now, you go like this, you fold up like this 30 times. And then now there's another energy point right here. So it's actually between your index finger and your thumb. And so you take this energy point, you put it on top. Right now, this one happened to be the large intestine. Okay, ready? Go. And then the other side. Now, KB, if you have a lot of pain in your fingers, which I do, I have a lot of pain in my fingers because I use it all the time. And so then you're going to have to learn to scrape it. All right. And so you get something, anything. I just happen to have this in front of me, and you learn how to scrape it like this. Right? Or you use the knuckle and you scrape it like this. All right. So the next exercise is going to be scraping. All right. But in any case, KB, basically you're in very bad health right now. Very bad health, basically, because you're not in harmony. You're not in nothing in you is in balance. So we come back to the five things I talked about a couple of weeks ago. What are the five things? Exercise. And if this kind of exercise that we do, which we alternate every week, helps you, then you maintain that regimen of exercise. The key issues, the key feature of exercise here is that we maintain that balance between energetic and restorative. It's the yang and the yin. We always balance between the two. So that might be a good exercise for you. I wouldn't recommend you go out and run all the time because that's too energetic. All right. Energetic. If you're um, doing too much energetic exercise, it actually worsens your health because you're creating too much stress hormone in your body, and you actually become resistant to the, the natural steroid, what's we call the cortisol, and that's really when you start your body start to inflame. So I would not recommend doing very strenuous exercise. So this kind of exercise that we do, where we kind of energetic, meditative, restorative, energetic, restorative, might be the kind of exercise that you want to maintain. So exercise is very important. Turns out getting some sunlight is important. So a lot of times we say, "Oh, we don't want to get sunlight because it will cause skin cancer." Well, that is true, but it depends on your skin condition, right? I don't know if you're Asian or you have dark skin. Um, we tend not to have that problem. That problem is really more people with very pale skin. And so, but in any case, if you're afraid of getting sunlight, get it in your back. Get it in your back, right? You don't actually have to have direct contact with your skin to really get make use of the energy from the sun. It can actually go through your clothing. All right. So exercise, the right kind of exercise, sunlight. Really, really important to have good quality sleep. Right. So this is a big problem. How do you get good quality sleep? Well, meditation will help you. And then the other one is, and we talk about the strength. The strength of a body actually comes from the lower extremities. So it's very important that you develop strength in your lower extremities. And finally, is abdominal breathing. Abdominal breathing really is the key to restore the harmony in you. Five things, all right? Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time talking because you're here to exercise. But if you have more questions, just ask it in our. Okay, be careful with the vitamin. They're not vitamin. The only vitamin is vitamin C. The rest are hormones. So when you take external vitamins, your body doesn't know. It treats it as poison, and so you're gonna have to filter it. And if it's water soluble, it's gonna put a low on your kidney. If it's not water soluble, it's gonna put a low on your liver. So whatever it is that you need to consume it in terms of food. If you need vitamin C, then you know what kind of food you need. But some oranges and stuff like that. If you need vitamin D, you know, get it from the sunlight. Right? There's not there's no reason to put more low on your liver and your kidney. All right, and they're not vitamin, they're hormone. All right. All right. Okay, where are we? Okay, so I actually took off my watch for a reason. Yeah, thank you, Martha. Yeah, it's always good to remind people that we do have a group called Mindfulness. All right, so we're gonna do some scraping now, and scraping is very good for pain. Okay, and when your fingers hurt, sometimes you need to scrape your fingers, and it might turn out that if you scrape the upper part of your arm, it actually increase the flow of energy as well, and it would reduce the pain in the fingers. So first, we're gonna understand what we're scraping. So we're scraping the inside as well as the outside. The inside is away from the sun, so that's yin. There's three energy line meridians, one in the center that we name after pericardium. One is along the little fingers that we name after, we call it the heart, but it's actually part of mind and heart are the same in our language. And then on the thumb is the lung. Once again, it's more like the fire and the mineral. Okay. Now we take our scraping tool and we start at the elbow and we go all the way to the wrist and then we come back. And then you say, wow, that really hurts. Well, that's why. Okay, now going to move towards the bone and the inside the bone, we scrape and we come back. And then now we just scrape on the bone. And when you scrape on the bone, see if there's any kinks. All right. So we talk about the meridians as if that's it, but actually the energy doesn't flow, nicely along the meridian. They actually flow across as well. And so when the energy is blocked on the cross flow, you're going to feel some kinks here. Now, then on the other side of the bone, that's the one that we name after the large intestines. And then in the center is the one that we name called triple warmer. And in the past, I explained that a little. And now this is the part of the hand. So if your hand hurts, like I do, you just have to scrape it, increase the energy flow. Scrape the fingers, scrape the thumb back to the back of your hand, and then scrape the center, turn it, scrape inside, scrape, and then and then finally we scrape the one along the little finger. This one help you sleep. So scrape and then all the way to the elbow. All right, and then the other side in the middle, back, and then inside of the bone, back, on top of the bone, back, and outside the bone, back, and then in the center line, back of the hand, right where your finger hurts, and in the fingers, and then all right, turn around, little by little, turn around, and then now under the finger. Okay, now this improved energy flow, and some of you have a scraping tool that you can use, very sharp edges. That would be fine, but don't hurt yourself. Okay. Now that we got the energy flowing, it's important that we do this finger work. So again, KP, if your finger hurts, this one helps. All right. And this one also helps if you have carpal tunnel. All right. So let's stretch up the torso, open our shoulder, lean back, relax, pointing all four fingers in front, lock our elbow. Okay. Roll up the four fingers, hold it down with the thumb. Now the four fingers are the spring, so we're going to wind up the four fingers, but we're going to hold it down with the thumb, and then we're going to get ready to go one as hard as you can, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, and 10. All right. Now we're going to continue, and this one will help if you have frozen shoulder. So we're going to open that shoulder. We're going to take our fingers. We're going to form what's called a lotus hand by putting the thumb and the middle finger together and stretch out the other three. Then we're going to put that in front of a shoulder. And once again, open up the shoulder, back of the hand facing the camera. Get ready. One, twist your arm so the back of the hand is facing the camera. Come back with the lotus hand, sit up straight. Two, come back. Three, come back. Four, come back. Five, six, seven, eight, nine, and 10. Okay, now we start with the fingertips working up, and we're going to work towards the top of the head. So we're going to work on the neck now. All right, so we take our hands, lock it, put it behind us, use the thumb, and just kind of feel these two cavities. And so we're going to sit up straight and use the the finger, not the fingernail. And we're going to push down on that as if we were squeezing a rubber hose. Lean back with the neck, provide some counter pressure. Hold it, right? Feel the numbness or the tenderness here. And then we're going to relax. All right. Then we take the right hand, put that on the left side, push down with the four fingers, lean back, grab the left side of the neck and pull it slightly towards the right. Same thing on the other side. Pull it slightly towards the left. Now we're going to take the left hand, put that under the ear, and we're going to massage that a little. And then we're going to massage all the way across. Whisper to yourself, relax, relax. And then the other side. Relax, relax, and relax. And then right hand on top of the ear, relax, relax, relax. And then the other side, relax, relax, and relax. All right. Now we're going to take the thumb. We're going to put that in between um, the cavity and the ear, right here on top of the bone. And you kind of massage that. You feel some stress there, right? So this is a good energy point to massage before you go to sleep. Release all the stress. Now we're going to learn to squeeze the neck, massage the neck as you come down. So there's these two energy points. We call that the pond of wind. And then these two energy points, okay? We call that the middle of the pillar. And then these two energy points right here, you can squeeze that. We call it the door of wind. And then now you can use the meaty part of your thumb and just kind of massage the right side of the neck. Same thing on the other side, just massage the left side of the neck. Back again. All right. Okay. So now we're going to massage the side of the neck. And so once again, back to the cavity, but we're going to use the knuckle and just put that underneath it and just kind of scrape it a little bit. Right, scrape it a little bit. And then now we're going to massage the top of the shoulder. See, we always massage the cavities. Right? We always massage the cavities. And then over here. So there's a branch of massage called fascia massage, right? Where we don't massage the muscle of the tendon, but rather the cavities. And now we're going to massage the shoulder. Just feel all the cavities. They're in between the muscles. And just kind of massage them. Same thing on the side, use the index finger form a hook and massage below the ear, and then the shoulder, the back of the shoulder, outside the shoulder, around the shoulder, right, massage, and always the cavities. Grab onto the cavities and massage. All right? All right, so now we're done with the back, done with the side. Now it's the front of the part. So back to the middle of the arm again. And now this is self-healing. This is the part that actually put out energy. So you focus your mind on that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to form what's called an empty hand, a cavity. We're going to put that on top of our eye. So we're not touching the eyeball. All right, so now we're going to open our eyes and you should see only darkness. But if you don't, you move your fingers, move your hand until you try to seal, right, your hand so you don't see any light. Okay, this is the key, right? Okay, you ready? Go. Put that on your eye. You don't feel very much first time. Second time. So the energy that we generate is actually infrared. So the eye has to adjust to that. Second time you feel the heat. Now, third time. Put that on your eye. Now we're going to massage the forehead, massage the face, massage the side of the face, and put the center of the palm on top of the temple. Massage. Now we're going to massage in between eyebrow, and you feel a lot of stress here too. So these are another energy point that can relieve some stress, something that you want to do any time of the day, especially before you go to sleep. Now we're going to massage the forehead, and then we massage this right here, this triangular point. And then now we're going to massage the head, and what we call the big brain is all where we do all the cognitive function. This is a good time to say thanks to your body, say thanks to your brain. The back of the brain is where the memory goes, and then the lower part of the brain is where all the motor function go. Now massage the neck, massage the top of the ears, back to the face, and then massage the fingers. All this time, say thank you, say sorry, and say love. Right? Okay. Now we're going to massage the eyes. So I talk about 8 cavities. 5 of them are on top on the upper torso. We already did the one behind the ear. Now is the eye. Okay. So we're going to massage the eyes. There's actually 8 energy points around the eye. 3 on top, 3 on the bottom, and then 1 here. So we're going to start on the top of the head. So we're going to take the index finger and just going to feel it on the beginning of the eyebrow. You feel a cavity. So you push that, not with your fingernails now. You push down, you use a bit of force on the neck to provide that pressure. Okay, and then now you put your index finger in between eyebrow and you massage all 3 energy points above your eyebrow. And as if you're squeezing, as if you're squeezing toothpaste. All right. All right, so those 3 energy points on top, there's 3 energy points below. So the first one is actually at the corner of your eye, but it's not exactly at the corner of your eye. It's kind of halfway between the corner of your eye and the bridge of your nose. So you put your index finger right here, put your index fingers right here, close your eyes, sit up straight. Okay, now apply some pressure. We're gonna do some eye yoga. So we're gonna close our eye and then turn our eyes towards the ceiling, now to the right. Now looking down at the floor, now to the left, back to the ceiling. Okay. Now we're going to rotate clockwise. So up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, back to up. We're going to do counterclockwise. Left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up. Open the eyes. Take two fingers and just kind of massage all the way to the chin. Massage all the way to the chin. Now we're going to come back with the thumb, starting with the corner of the eye, right below the eye back, all the way to the tail. Do the same thing on the other side. And then now we're going to take the index fingers, put it right here. Okay, there's a cavity right here. And then there's a cavity right here. And then now we're going to massage the neck. So you say sometimes I pain headache. Sometimes you mean you have headache or you have pain. Which one? Okay, now we're going to massage the ear. So very important to separate the ear into three parts, which reflects the three compartments. What's above the diaphragm, what's below the diaphragm, but above the belly button, and what's below the belly button. They actually reflects all three, but upside down. Okay, so we're going to work on the top, which is really the energy point that corresponds to the kidney. And so we're going to put the thumb inside, four fingers in the back, massage, and then put the thumb in the middle, four fingers, massage. Take the index finger, put that below, thumb in the back, massage. Then we're going to massage the tip, yank, massage the edge, massage the ear loop, yank. Put the thumb behind the ear loop, put the index finger outside, and massage the entire ear canal, but do it from the outside. Okay, I don't want you to put your fingers inside your ear canal. All right. Now we're going to massage the back of the ear. I'm going to take the thumb and just kind of massage the back of the ear where it folds. And then we're going to put two fingers, one on the ear, one on the back of the head, and just kind of massage from the top to the bottom. Same thing on the other side. And then two fingers. I'm going to do one more with the ear, which is called the drumming. And so we take the hand, put it behind, close it, stretch it, and then go 1, 2, and 3. Okay? All right. Okay, so now we're going to massage the top of the head. We finally get to the top of the head. So first we're going to massage. Okay, so now we're going to sit up straight. This is the yang energy that goes up our spine. We're going to lift up our shoulder. We're going to open the shoulder, lean back, and then relax. We're going to take the forehead, lean back the forehead so the ears on top of the shoulder. Then we're going to tuck in the chin. So the top of the head, this energy point called the 100 meat, where all the energy comes in together, are now facing the universe. So we take the fingers, put that on top, and we're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. And we're going to massage with the fingertip. Remember, we start with the fingertips. So massage all the way down, right? There's energy points, energy lines on top. And then there's energy lines on the side. All right. Okay. So now we're ready to continue the tap. We're not done until we get to the bottom of our feet. All right. So open your shoulder, lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, relax, turn your head to the right. Sometimes we need to turn our head as part of exercise. Turn our head to the right. When you get to the right shoulder, you lift up your right hand, you form the empty hand, you put that back on your left shoulder, fingers on top, pop your hand in front. Now you listen with your left hand, left ear. Okay, you ready? Wake up, continue. Okay, now stretch, open, lean back, relax. Left hand, put down on the right shoulder. Listen with the right ear. Get ready. Wake up. Continue. Okay, now we're going to work in the armpit as well as the elbow. But turns out that the armpit and the elbow and the belly button are the three main remaining cavities on the upper part that are for longevity. The ears, eye, and now the belly, right? Belly button. Massage that. And then increase the diameter a little bit so you're massaging the intestines as well. Okay, now use the thumb, this part right here, and you massage the armpit. And now, in ancient time, the Chinese doesn't understand anything about our lymphatic system. But they do understand the benefit of massaging these cavities, which happen to be, where all your lymphatic systems are. So it makes sense that by massaging it, you're increasing your energy flow, and that would help with increasing your immunity, therefore longevity, right? So massage the elbow and then massage the other side. Okay, now we're going to do some more tapping. But remember now, this energy point is part of the mind. So it actually travels along, and this part of the muscle is very important, right? Losing muscle now is the specialties in Western medicine for aging, for preventing premature aging. So we want to stretch that part by taking the elbow, put that on top of the head, and stretch. All right. Then we're going to pinch the upper part. Remember now, this reflects the kidney. So it's actually reducing your anxiety when you do this. Turn the head to the right hand, put that on the armpit, empty hand. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, now remember now, we're not trying to beat your body into submission. We're trying to energize it by exciting it, but keeping in mind that you need to maintain that sense of gratitude, that you need to show your body loving kindness, but not just loving kindness, also acceptance and forgiveness. Okay, forgiveness of yourself, right, for ignoring your body. Now put your right shoulder on top, pinch your left ear, turn your head to the right, sit up straight, so you're stretching this muscle. Now take the left hand, put that on here again with loving kindness and for like acceptance. All right, get ready, go. Continue. Okay. And I talk about the Japanese art. I talk about the Japanese art being Zen art, right? Actually a Buddhist concept. I talk about wabi sabi, which is the two words that means impermanence and imperfection. And that's really how you have to treat your body, is to accept the imperfection, right? Accept that it is still, it's impermanent, and living is dying. You're literally dying, right? You just have to accept that, right? Okay, so now we're going to work on the elbow. It seems like very pessimistic, but it's not. It is actually not pessimistic. It's understanding the impermanence of life so that you really, really value every second while you're living. But at the same time, you accept that at some point you're going to have to move towards the light. All right. All right. Now lock your elbow. Take your right hand, fingers on top, palm on the side. Lift it up. Okay. Turn your head to the right. Listen with your left ear. Get ready. Go. Continue. Again, do the other side. Lock it. Fingers put that on the right side. Listen with the right ear. Get ready. Go. Continue. Okay, so we're done with the upper part, upper torso, and let's move towards uh, the lower part of our body. We will continue to do the same thing, right? So upper part has six energy lines, lower part has another six energy line. Upper part is more about the heart and the lung. The lower part is more about metabolic, right? So three energy line on the inside called the yin, and these two, there are two that show up in the upper part of your thigh in the inner part, inner side. One is what we call the splint, and one is what we call the liver. The splint is a soil element, and the liver is the vegetation element. So first locate your knee inside, three fingers. Now this time we're going to use this energy point right here. Okay, very soft. Just get ready. We're not trying to beat into submission, right? So we just try to energize it. Get ready, go. And then in the middle, now this inside is the liver, outside is the gallbladder. So you're close to your knee. On the outside, you divide into three parts, it's two energy points. Get ready, go. And second one. Okay, now above the knee, there are two. Below the knee, there are three. Now, that doesn't mean that there are only three. There's a lot more than three. We just chose three. Okay, so on the knee, there's a cavity right here. And using this part of your fist, get ready, go. And then in the middle, and then all the way down to the ankle, measure four fingers up. This one is called a hanging bell. You feel some tingling on your toes when you do this. Get ready, go. Okay, now this is the gallbladder, or name after gallbladder. So this is the one that we name after the stomach. It's in the front now, also facing the sun. So you come to the knee first, four fingers. You locate the bone just on the outside the bone. Get ready? Close your knee. Get ready? Front and back using this energy point. Get ready? Go. And then now lower, four fingers. Get ready? Go. Okay, now we have one more yang energy line, which is the one that we named after the bladder, which is the back of the. Now, I remember last week, someone, oh, actually, almost every week, someone says, well, can you recommend a book or a website where I could learn more about the energy points or the meridian? Turns out that these days, when you do a Google search, it gives you all the websites, all the relevant websites, just like in the past. But then half of it is now a AI response, which basically summarizes everything else. So if you just go and says, what are the energy points that are good for improving my sleep? It would just write your article and you can read that. And it's using AI to summarize everything else. It's actually much better than just saying that I want to read a book. Okay. Now, this energy point is at the bottom of a calf. The calf is also very important. So let's take that part and put that on the right knee and kind of move it around a little bit. You feel that soreness in there. And then now we're going to tap that 30 times. And then we do the same thing on the other side. And that's why it's important to maintain your lower body strength, especially the calf, right? The calf is what the Western, even the Western medicine doctor call that the second heart. Get ready? Go. And so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if what the question is. You sometimes I pain headache. What should I do? I suspect you meant sometimes you get a headache when you exercise, and what should you do? Um, it depends on what kind of headache. If it's a migraine like that, then meditation would help. Just anxiety. That's just meditation, and then also abdominal breathing. So we talk a lot about abdominal breathing here. So next week we're going to practice abdominal breathing. All right. Okay. So now we finally get to hang on the toes. Right. Just one second. Let me get that. Okay. All right. So we're going to massage our toes. Thank you, Martha. That's a great website. All right, so let me see if I can move back a little bit. Okay, okay. So there's a lot to do on the toes, but because of time, I would only recommend working on right now. We're only going to work on in between the big toes and second toe. That happened to be the energy line for the liver. So you take your thumb, you use the edge of the liver, and you massage that. And then when they come together, there's a cavity here, and you do a little bit of acupressure and massage that. Now, this one you help you sleep, right? It's the liver. And then now you turn it around, you take the toes, you bend it backward, you see the tendon here, you scrape that. That's called the longevity tendon. Okay. Now you relax, you scrape the bottom of your feet, you scrape the heel, you scrape the ball area. Now you massage the toes. You massage the tip of the toes, and you massage the inside of the toe. Now you come to the arch. The arch is actually very important. The splint energy passes here and the liver energy passes here. So you take your scraper and you first work on right below the bone. There's some very important energy points here. Then you work on below what's below the ankle. There's some energy point here. And then you scrape the entirety of that. Now you come back to the ankle. You move towards the Achilles heel. There's a cavity here. You do a little bit of acupressure. And then you locate the angle. You measure 4 fingers below the bone. There's another energy point. And then you locate the bone and you scrape the bone. Now, if any of you have swelling in your feet, right, that's not a good sign, right? Swelling in your feet means that your blood flows to the extremities, but it doesn't come back. There's no efficient pathway to come back. Typically, what returns is your lymphatic system. The lymphatic system actually has a side job that is to return your water. So swelling is not a good idea. There's an energy point right here, right, on this side. That if you put your fingers here, that would help with the swelling. And then scraping this would help with the swelling, clear the energy. Now, finally, the most important energy point is at the bottom of your ball area. That's the three of the longevity cavities on the lower part. That's the first one. So you take your right thumb and massage there. And you do a little bit of acupressure here. And then you turn the toes back. You form empty hand. You put that on top. We're going to tap that 30 times. Now, this is called mixing the water and fire. This is water. This is fire. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, now quickly, we do that on the right side, in between the big toes and the second toe. A little bit of upward pressure, some scraping, and then turn it upside down. Bend back the big toe, scrape the longevity tendon, relax, scrape the bottom of the feet, scrape the heel, scrape the ball area, massage the toes, massage in between the toes, scrape the arch first, scraping below that piece of bone, and then below the ankle, scrape the entirety of the arch. Do acupressure right behind the ankle. Do acupressure 4 fingers up and then below the bone, and then some acupressures right here, and then scrape the inside, and then back to the bottom of your feet and massage the cavity. Do some acupressure. Bend back the toes, form empty hand, water and fire 30 times. Continue. Okay, all right. Okay, so we move to the floor now. All right. Remember, I talked about 8 cavities. So there's three on the lower part of the body. One is at the bottom of the feet. The other one is behind the knee. And so we're going to massage behind the knee. This one actually helps with the kidney. So massage the kidney. Stand up and then just bend your back all the way down, loosen up your knee. 4 fingers behind, thumb on the side. Get ready. 30 times. Continue. Okay, so finally the cavity. This is obviously has to do within the body, right? So massage, and then form a fist, fit that in that cavity 30 times. And again, we're not trying to beat into submission, just energize it, okay? Okay, now finally we come to the mother of all Qigong exercise, what we call Yi Jing Jing, YJJ. Yi means exchange, Jing means tendon, but actually means connective tissue. It's actually clearing all the meridians. There are 12 meridians, 6 yin, 6 yang. Six starts at the toes, six starts at the fingertips. That's 12. Plus two primary, one in the back, one in front. So it's 14. And you will notice that this one has 14 different steps correspond to the meridians. So it's about clearing the meridians, right? Okay. Now, what does that mean when we say we clear the meridians? When we clear the meridians is energetic. That's the time that we actually puts out stress hormone. The stress hormone, the cortisol, is to reduce inflammation. So this exercise, being an energetic exercise, is to reduce the inflammation in the body. However, It's the harmony that matters. So as much as you're in energetic form, you need to spend equal time in the restorative. And so after each exercise, we come back, we pay attention to the breath, we focus entirely on the breath, no other thoughts, and that's the return from the fight or flight to the rest and digest. And that's where you restore the sensitivity to the stress hormone. The problem that we have in modern living is that we have outpaced our evolution. We spend all the time outside the cave. We are all the time energizing the body, putting out stress hormone to a point where we lose the sensitivity to the stress hormone. So the only thing that is healing us, reducing chronic inflammation is no longer operational. In other words, we lose our self-healing power. So this exercise is energetic, yes, but at the same time, it's important that we also give it equal time to restorative. Okay? So it's like if you spend an hour running marathon, you better spend an hour meditating. And the problem with the yoga practice that we do in the West is that we don't pay enough attention to meditation, right? It becomes just exercise. All right. Now, to do this properly, we have to understand that it's all about energy flow in our body from the outside back to the outside. So the energy would flow from the bottom of the feet all the way to the top of the head. So first we start at the bottom of the feet and we kind of stand firmly and focusing on that energy point that we just finished doing. It's called the gushing spring, as if the energies are gushing through our body. Then we turn the toes inward. We're losing a knee to energize the calf, the energy point in the calf. In fact, that energy point is so important that entire exercise is done with the bent knee, slightly bent, so you can activate in this calf. Not only that, but in the towards the end, we jump just to make sure that we exercise that point because that is the second heart. Not only that, if the deterioration of the calf is correlate with dementia, right? All right. So the next thing you want to do is you want to lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, and relax. Now this energy point in the shoulder is called a well on the shoulder. So you can imagine that if spring water is coming up, you need to align the opening of the well with the spring, right? That's obvious. Then you take your forehead, you lean back so that the ears on top of the shoulder, and you tuck in your chin. So this energy point is in fact pointing to heaven. So all the energies now are coming through your body and then return it back to the heaven, right? You're part of the energy system. The next thing you want to do is you want to focus on the center of your palm. This is the energy point that we call the palace of labor, and you want to point that to the earth. So you're actually making the wrist 90 degrees, but you move it back slightly so that you're on two sides of the straight line that connects the top of your head to the energy point that is actually below between your reproductive system and your the it's right in the bottom. Okay, all right. So now what you do is this is called this. The first one is called the spirit boosting palm, which basically you're sending a shock wave through your body. But it's very important that when you push with your mind. So you close your eye, but you imagine that you're looking at the center of your palm. So your mind is actually at the center of your palm. So I'm going to say go, but that's not for you. That's not where you push. This is where you remind yourself that your mind and your body is one, and you push with your mind. Okay, ready? Go. And then now back to the breathing. Very important that we spend equal time on the restorative, on the rest and digest by focusing on the breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. One breath. Second breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. All right. Now the second time. Get ready. Go.
back, focusing on the breath. Third time, go. Back to the breath. Now, it's very good that if you check the inside your mouth to see if it's wet, okay? When you're actually back into the rest and digest, you should reactivate your saliva gland. If your mouth is not wet, that means you're still in fight or flight. All right. All right. The second one is pointing. So now I'll focus on the finger on the thumb. We point at the hip. Okay, without touching. We form that circle. We roll up our four fingers, and we imagine we took two buckets of water on a thumb, and we lift up our thumb by bringing the thumb up, energizing both the lung and the large intestine meridians. We hold it, and then we relax without lowering the hand. We're back to our breath. Second time, bend your thumb upward, and then relax. One last time, and then lower your hand, completely relax, focus on your breath, check the inside your mouth. The third one is called beginner's mind. It's the baby's mind. It's how what the baby does inside the mother's womb. You put your thumb across your palm, you roll up your four fingers, and then you squeeze your fist, energizing both the pericardium and the heart. And then open your fingers, relax. Focus on your breath. Second time, squeeze as hard as you can, and then open, relax. One last time, squeeze as hard as you can, and then lower your hand, completely relax. Completely relax. Check the inside your mouth. If your inside mouth is still dry, next time put the tip of the tongue behind the teeth and where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. Now we're going to take a deep breath. We're going to put the fists together, put that below the belly button, and then we're going to take a deep breath as you raise your fist and your upper torso all the way to the nose, and then relax. Now we're going to put the elbow together, and we're going to focus on the back, and we're going to stretch open the back. That's the gallbladder. That's the bladder meridian, and then relax. Second time, stretch the back, stretch it open, and then relax. One last time, stretch open, and then relax. Focusing on your breathing. The next one is called fist above the head. You take the fist, you put it above the head, you open your shoulder, you open your fist. All right, now this one is cardio. So this exercise combines stretching, cardio, and also muscle building. This is cardio. So you roll up your fist, one joint, two joint, lock it with your thumb, open the shoulder, and squeeze as if you're squeezing all your blood back into the heart. And then you relax, let the blood come back. Second time, open your shoulders, squeeze, and then relax. Open your shoulder again, squeeze, and then relax. Okay, now next one's called stabbing the shoulder. So you open your shoulder, you grab two daggers, you point the daggers on your shoulder, and you stab, and you feel the tightness in the back of your neck, and that's the gallbladder. And then you relax, focusing on your breathing, one breath at a time. Second time, open the shoulder, grab the dagger, point it to your shoulder, stab, and then relax. One last time, stab, and then relax. The next one is called the cross. Now this one is actually stretching the triple warmer. So you make your cross like this. You can imagine two trees you can touch with your fingers. So all you have to do is rotate your wrist, roll up your fist, take a deep breath, hold your breath, and push as hard as you can. And then go, boom, relax. Second time, push and relax. One last time. And relax. Now this exercise is so important that we do it 3 more times in the front. This time we lock the elbow. We can feel the tree in front of us already. Roll your wrist, roll up your fist, take a deep breath and push. And then relax. Second time. And then relax. One last time. And then relax. Now the next two is about muscle. All right. So we don't want to lose some muscle as we age. So this is like doing a pull-up. You look up, you see the bar across, you grab the bar, and you pull yourself up with everything you got, and relax. In fact, it's this muscle. Second time, and then relax. One last time, and then relax. Now we continue. This isn't still the muscle, but it's more about this side now. And I call this ripping the yellow page. Grab the yellow page, one half at a time, one half at one side, and just rip that open. And then relax. Second time. Relax. One last time. Rip the sucker open. Okay? And one time, I usually have a student that says, what's a yellow page? All right, so now we swallow. We swallow, take all the saliva, and we swallow all the way down to here. This is the time you check your goat stand, so you're not standing up. Back of the hand touching, straighten up your back. This next exercise is actually help your kidney. So you lower your hand without standing up, all the way down. Back of the hand touching. Lock your elbow. Squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax. So now, turn upside down. Focus on the center of your palm. Without standing up, take a deep breath. Breathe out, breathe in. Palm facing forward, lower your knees. See that big rock in front of you? Push. And then take a deep breath. And then breathe out. Now we're ready to meditate. This meditation that we do is called microcosmic orbit. You can look it up. We actually call it wandering dragon chasing the pearl. There's a reason for that. And but first we're going to sit, and it's very important that you start with your posture. We sit like a bell, as if this is the Liberty Bell. The legs are the pedestal. So if you have to, you put blankets and pillows so that you're not using any leg muscle. You relax your hand. You straighten up your spine.
starting at the lower part of your spine, and you move it up top of the head. Stretch the spine as hard as you can. Then you lean back and relax. Okay? Now, if you already know how to do that, there's a little refinement that I can introduce you today, which is you stretch, you move forward, and then you lean back. But as you lean back, you keep your hip in place. So the hip is actually forward, but your upper torso is back. So you feel a little bit of stretch on your lower back on both sides where the kidneys are. Then you relax. But still try to maintain that so the hip is forward and the back and relax. A little hard to do, I know. I know. So I'm not insisting on that, but that's the proper way. Then you lift up your shoulder, you open your shoulder, and you relax. Then you take your forehead, you lean back, ears on top of the shoulders, so the weight of the head is on top of the spine. Then you take your chin, you tuck it in, so the top of the head is facing the sky. We call this one pillar supporting the sky. You are now the center of the universe. You have to, because the universe is unbound. There is no limit, you know. So you could be the center, I could be the center, anybody could be the center if you just sit properly. Now you come to your forehead, you relax your forehead, you relax your eyebrow, you relax your eyelid. You think about your eyelid as the window shade, you lower your window shade, but you can still see some light coming through your eyelashes. So you're not tightening it, just relax. Finally, you take the tip of the tongue, put that behind the teeth, right here, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. You close your mouth. So this is many things. It turns on your fight or flight. You feel the wetness inside your mouth, but it also conducts electrical. It's part of the electrical circuit. Now you focus on your belly button. As you breathe in, you move your belly button forward. As you breathe out, you move your belly button back. So we're learning how to sense our breathing through our stomach using our diaphragm and not the upper part of the body. Now, the only way you could do this is if you're relaxed, because otherwise the diaphragm would tighten up, right? It's a viscoelastic material. So if you relax, then you can actually use the diaphragm to breathe and not the upper part of your body. And this actually brings a lot of health benefit. So let's do that. Let's do that for 3 minutes, learning how to sense our breathing and how to augment our breathing by moving our stomach. When we breathe in, we move our belly button forward. When we breathe out, we move our belly button back, one breath at a time. Okay, so that's just basic exercise, learning to sense your breath through your stomach, learning how to augment your breathing with using your diaphragm. So, second is we come back to our body, we continue to feel a breath. We feel that when we breathe in, the stomach slightly opens. We feel that when we breathe out, the stomach slightly collapses. Now we're going to shift the focus into the bottom of our spine. And as we breathe in, we feel the stomach opens. We rise from the bottom of the spine towards the top of the head. We stretch the spine as we breathe in until we get to the top of the head. Then, when we sense that we breathe out, we start at the top of the head. We come down in the front through the forehead, through the bridge of the nose, through the tongue, all the way down to the belly button. As we do that, we lean back and relax. When we breathe in, we stretch. When we breathe out, we lean back and relax. Okay, let's do that for 3 minutes. Now, this is a very important part. It's actually circulate the energy around your spine. Let the energy flow in the spine to the top of the head and then let it come back. So you wish ask the question, which point to keep a sharp mind, especially for students. So I'll answer that. But let's focus on the meditation right now. When we breathe in, we move up the spine, we stretch the spine towards the ceiling until we get to the top of the head. And when we breathe out, we come back down through our bridge of the nose, through our tongue, back to the belly button, and we lean back and relax. Okay, now, if you actually practice this technique for any length of time, and if you're able to maintain that concentration by focusing only on the breath and stretching your spine as you move up and relaxing your body as you come down, eventually you actually feel that there's an energy flowing inside of you, and that's when you create that what is called the magnetic coupling. Because I talk about chi as only half of the energy is the magnetic part of energy. There's another part which is the electricity, what we call shir or blood. And so when you do this, when in this case, the blood doesn't mean blood. It means all the fluid, all the conductive fluid in your body, whether they go through your vessel, they go through your spine, they go through your nerve system, or they go through your muscle. It doesn't matter. It's all the electricity that's in your body. And when you create that coherence in the electricities, the magnetic field will present itself, and you actually feel something in your spine rising up on its own. That's the magnetic coupling. And that's when you know that you're doing it right, and we call that the pearl. Now, there's a reason why we introduced this term called the wandering dragon chasing the pearl, and it actually answered the question, which is how do you keep a sharp mind? Because in this case, we want to not use your intellect, okay? Not use your intellect, not try to control anything, but instead trying to just be an observer. And so in this case, we introduced a term called wandering dragon chasing the pearl. The pearl is that energy that you feel that is rising on your spine. And now you take a back seat. You say, I am the dragon. My mind is like the dragon. And if you've ever seen dragon dance, the dragon always follows the pearl. The pearl is a shiny object. So as the energy rises, you just follow. And when you get to the top of the head, you say to yourself, I don't stop at the top of the head. I just let the dragon go. And you imagine you have a cloud on top of the head, and the dragon sees the cloud and says, oh, that's my ancestor home. Let me go back to my ancestor home. You let it go. And then when your body starts to breathe out on its own, the dragon will come back all the way back to the belly button. And the dragon sees the stomach and says, oh, that's my cave. Let me rest at the cave. You let your dragon rest. You don't try to control anything. And you just feel that your body is breathing in again, and you rise on your spine above your head. Let it all go. Let the dragon be free. And then when you breathe out again, you come back to the cave, to the dragon's den. Once again, you relax, and you just wait for your body to breathe in again, and you rise. Okay, let's sit for 3 minutes. And that's good. The wandering dragon tracing the pearl. That actually is the answer to your question, Yurish. Okay, open your eyes. Okay, we're about 7 minutes past class, but I do want to talk about, and so the question is, which energy point, I assume it's energy point, to keep a sharp mind. So I'm sure there's an answer to that question. I can point to some energy points that would help with that. Top of the head, behind the ear, behind the, on these 2 points. These are all energy points that helps the blood flow into the top of the head to kind of give more juice to the brain. But to really keep a sharp mind is to let go of the brain. You say, let go of the brain. What do you mean? Well, that's the problem with Western culture is that we tend to think that the brain is the entirety of our intelligence. And you need to understand that the brain is the intellect. It's a small part of our intelligence system. You have to believe that there's intelligence in the entirety of a body, right? Okay. I mean, simple things like I have the same nose as my father, right? I have same kind of vein as my mom. Whenever we do a blood test, we have the same problem. The veins are very small. We have all these things that we inherit from my ancestry. That's part of our intelligence. But let me not make it complicated. Let me make it simple. So I talk about the two movies that I like about the Japanese culture. I like because they're part of the Zen culture. One is called Shogun. One is called Last Samurai. They actually describe the two endpoints of this big important part of the Japanese culture. One is when the fictional Lord Toranaga unites Japan, unites all the different factions. But it actually talks about the shogun class, the samurai class, and how powerful they are. They are so powerful that they are actually the ruling class, not the emperor. Then you go to the last emperor, is when they decided that they need to return the power to the emperor so that they can become a republic and modernize. Now, the end result is that they modernize Japan so much that they become the imperial power and they start to invade the neighboring country, including Korea and China and everywhere else. And that's a different story. But the point is that the shoguns and the samurais were the ruling class. And that actually started when Zen meditation came to Japan, first through in Korea and then directly. So you have these two branches. One is called the Soto Zen. But in any case, the point is that when meditation came to Japan, the warriors were the ones that learned how to meditate and therefore not use only the intellect, not only the brain, but the entirety of the system. So when you use your brain, that's mainly your feeling. So when I say I hurt your feeling, oh, my feeling is hurt, you're talking about hurting the brain. But the rest of the intelligence system is actually in your spine. When you sense something, the nerve ending is in your spine, and then it get all collected and delivered to the brain. I remember sharing with you an article that talks about the speed of propagation on your spine is like 1 billion times faster than that of the brain. The brain actually slows down everything. Okay. So if you want to think sharp, what you need to do is turn it off, turn it off. Come back to just sensation. You sense your environment without judging, without judging. And that's how the samurai becomes so sharp. Their mind was so sharp that they would just look at each other in the rain, right? I mean, that's in the movie. And they just feel the first move from the other person and see the weakness and they go just so fast that no blood ever leave on the blade. In fact, there was one scene that I like where the two best swordsmen were facing each other. And then they go like this. And then the other guy got cut down. And in his last breath, he says, how did you know? How did you know that I was going to move? That you were able to find that weakness and cut me down? He says, the falling leaf told me. He was sensing his environment so sharply that his brain was not fast enough to detect, but his eye was able to detect the leaf moving, and he did that. Now that's of course, exaggeration maybe, but how about our professional athlete? When they talk about in the zone, right? When they shoot that last point that determined the championship, they shut off all that noise around them. They shut off not only just the noise around them, they shut off the noise that are inside of them. They shut it off. They rest the intellect. They use only the intelligence. So yes, I could tell you energy points that would increase the blood flow so that you have a sharper brain. But the ultimate is to learn to sense without judging. Okay. All right. Okay. So another week. Hope you all enjoyed this. Okay. 星期一見. Okay.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Chị Hiền.
Okay. Bye bye. 星期一見. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank